Hey,
And
Jennifer.
We
good
getting down
While I
to the
am,
afternoon.
nitty gritty. It's almost
I
done.
am
getting my
trying
We're
to
stuff
doing
in
good.
get.
place.
All
Place.
Good afternoon and welcome to Justine Peterson Present Ignite Illinois. We are on the ninth and almost final webinar series. And if you missed it, you can go back to the website, Justine Peterson's website, and view them. And I'll turn it over to you right now. And
Okay. Alrighty. Today we're going to talk about payroll essentials, compliance, and tax withholding and efficiency. We're going to learn the essentials of payroll processing, understanding tax withholdings and employee benefits, explore compliance with labor laws, and discovering how automation boosts efficiency. All right, the payroll process, the essentials that you're going to need. You're going to have to make sure that you collect time and attendance, calculate the gross pay, apply any deductions, and issue net pay to your employees. Some of the challenges that we have with payroll, you can have manual errors, missed deadlines, complex deductions, and multiple pay schedules. Okay. Tax withholding basics. We have federal, state, and local obligations. We have to get information from our employees, which we have them to fill out what's called a W-4 form. And then we have pre-tax and post-tax deductions. Okay. This is an example of a payroll company, payroll processing for a pay period. One of the things that I try to tell people that are doing payroll is to make sure when like to have a separate checking account for payroll processing. And the way that you know the money that should go into your payroll processing, on here it talks about your paycheck wages, if you have any non-paycheck wages or reimbursements. So that will give you your total pay. That will be your gross payment for that pay period. Then if you have any company contributions, that will be included. The next one is the employer taxes. That's the Social Security for the employer and the Medicare for the employer, the federal unemployment. I forget what the TNA is. And then in this example, this is the Illinois unemployment. So the total of all of those taxes for the employer would be $341.29. And you add that back to your subtotal at the top, which is the 2842.68, which will give you a total payroll cost before contractors of $3,183.97. So then when you add in the contractors, on this one, they only had $84 for this pay period. Your total payroll that if people transfer from their main account would go into your payroll account. I try to get people to get in the habit of doing this. So when it's time to file, which we're going to talk about in a second, the 941s and all of the different payroll files, your portion, meaning you being the employer, is already in the pot. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to get my payroll taxes in. everything will be already set in your payroll account. And you ask, well, why do I have to do the employer taxes? The government, they have you're holding what's called the trust fund of those taxes for your payroll processing. And so they put that responsibility on you to actually collect it and then make sure that it's paid in a timely manner. Nate, do you have any comments on this?
No, we're good on that.
Okay. Have you had any horror stories with payroll?
I mean, yes. Payroll has to be 100% right 100% of the time. And so this is no joke. You have to triple check everything. But here's the biggest problem that I think in the past people have faced, and I think we're eliminating most of this now by using fully compliant services, is that people will, you know this, and you know where I'm going with this, they would take the payroll taxes that were withheld and not hold them to be submitted to the state and federal. And then what happens when they're due? Oops, I used the government's money and now I can't make that payment. So that gets really bad. But nowadays, whether you're QuickBooks online or whether you're with ADP or any of the software providers, and you know you do this as well, we make sure to collect that and set it aside, right?
Correct. Jennifer, do you have any questions about that? Is Jennifer still with us? Okay. So we'll keep moving on. With the payroll taxes, like we were just saying, you need to make sure that you're withholding those payroll taxes and that you're filing your monthly, quarterly, and annual filings on time and depositing their taxes on time because you need to avoid the IRS and state penalties. So not only will the IRS give you penalties, the state will also give you penalties for not putting that money that you were withholding. Like I say, you're like a trust fund for them to actually withhold and file those taxes. So some of the employee benefits and payroll that we may have includes health insurance. We know that that's one of the things that people are actually fighting in Congress about. So if your employees don't have self pay insurance and you're offering it through your company, you have to make sure that you include that in as one of the expenses that you have. And health insurance can be pretty uh, pricey, so you have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure you're giving your employees and yourself the best plans that are out there. Then we have some that's called retirement accounts or retirement contributions. You can contribute it to your employees' retirement accounts also. And then we have PTO, paid time off and leave policies. I know last year the state of Illinois issued, they didn't care full-time, part-time. They put into law that you have to give 5 days of paid time off for employees. Again, part-time, full-time, everybody. Next slide. Labor law compliance. We have the federal labor SA, wage, overtime, and record keeping. I know one of the things in the beautiful big bill, they talked about the no tips. And I was just reading something the other day where, yes, it's a federal no tip thing, but the state of Illinois opted out to not tax uh, tips. So it's a lot of moving parts with taxes and tips and all of that. Um, then we have the ACH, which is the health coverage rules. That's what one of the big things for the government shutdown was because they're fighting with the keeping the ACA premiums or not having as much premiums. And then we have state laws where we have minimum wage laws. Again, last year with the state of Illinois, the minimum wage was up to $15 an hour. And I remember those days when they used to be like $7 or $8 an hour. But now we've moved up to, in Illinois, $15 an hour. And I think Missouri is going on a gradual scale to get up to 15.
Hey, this would be a fun question to ask, either if you want to put it in the chat or not. What was the minimum wage when you started working?
Yes.
That's a good question. I remember my first job, Chuck E. Cheese's, $3.35 an hour.
Did you get tips?
No, I didn't get any tips. You know how it is in the hood. I had to catch people stealing
Oh,
salad from the salad bar. You know, there was a single serve or a multi, and people would get the single serve and they'd try to go back and get unlimited. So I had to bust them.
mm.
I did. 335. You got a 335 in there? Who said that? Oh, that must have been
That was
Yolanda.
Yolanda.
me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jennifer 425. And you remember what minimum wage was when you started? Probably close to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably
I
315.
think mine was about $7 though. I don't know why I'm thinking seven.
No way. Yeah. It
Yeah,
has to be.
I don't think it was the 335.
Has to be. Come on. That's
See,
funny.
I worked some youth jobs, so they kind of
Oh,
gave us
yeah,
a little.
you got paid. I tried to
Yeah,
get
I got
hired
paid a
White
little
Castle.
bit.
They paid a lot, but I didn't get hired.
Yeah,
Anyway, all right. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought it was fun.
yeah, no problem. Um, then we have your employee versus contractor classification. Again, a lot of people want to get by with doing people as contractors instead of employees. But if the IRS were ever to audit you and they come in and they determine that a person is not a contractor and is actually an employee, then you would have to go back and pay all of those taxes that you should have withheld. So it's best to make sure that your employees are actual employees and your contractors are actually contractors. Okay, you can go ahead and lock. So these are some of the labor law compliance posters that they want you to have posted in your place of business. And again, on there somewhere, it's kind of hard to see, but you will also have to have it has the current one, which will have the current uh minimum wage. So all of this should be displayed somewhere in your place of business. Okay, staying compliant. You should do regular audits on your payroll. Even if you use a payroll company, you need to go and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do and that they're paying the actual uh, buckets that they're supposed to be paying as far as federal, unemployment, state, all of those things. You need to make sure that all of those are being done and everything. And then you could train your payroll staff to make sure they're collecting the time and storing records like they're supposed to. And like I said, retention of the payroll records, making sure that information is kept in a safe place. And then you can partner with your legal and payroll experts. Payroll efficiency with automation. You need speed and accuracy improvements, integration with HR and time tracking, cloud-based access, and lower error rates. So when we're talking about payroll with automations, that's like using um, a cloud-based access software, or they have so many apps nowadays where um, people can clock in when they get to their work using their phone or a tablet that you have set up at the job site. And uh, some of those apps or where you it's called geo fencing. So you can have people where they can only clock in maybe 10 feet away from the building, and maybe they can only do it 5 minutes before their shift starts. So it's a lot of ways that time collection could be really easy when you're trying to keep everything together and you don't want people coming back. I was here at 4 o'clock. Well, you didn't clock in till 4:30. So you know they would that's a lot of, as they say, people are stealing time. You can with these apps nowadays, they're so sophisticated that that's not a worry of some people. And again, some of those apps can prepare the file that you need to go into your payroll system for payroll processing. So it will make your errors lower, and then it'll give you speed and improvements on your accuracy. Next, okay. So some of the key takeaways are payroll accuracy builds trust and compliance. You can understand and apply your correct withholdings. Benefit integration is essential. Again, we talked about the PTO and the health insurance. You need to stay compliant with your laws and audit. And then if you have automation, you have efficiency plus fewer errors. Do we have any questions? Jennifer, are you back? Okay. I was going to go back to that example that I showed, how I tell people to have two separate accounts, a payroll account and then a main account. But I was going to go back to it and walk her through it if she needed help.
Okay. Is there anything else that a small business should be thinking about with payroll as well?
Make sure they get somebody that's an expert, because you don't want to get down a rabbit hole with the IRS, because I was talking about those they entrust you with the funds. And so when you don't pay those funds, they're going to come after you. I think when we was in session one, Don talked about how he had um
He
got
had
an
to
audit.
prove, yeah, he had
Yes,
to prove that they were actually contractors and not employees, else he was going to be facing a very hefty fine.
yes,
And which it did work out in his favor because he had assistance. So it seems like the way to go is getting people who know these laws and things to assist you. It's a small, it seemed like a lot in the beginning, but some now it's starting to seem like a small price to pay to make sure you're compliant and not have to pay hefty fees and fines later down the road.
yes. And like Nate was saying, we look at it like, oh, I got this extra money in here, but that's not your money.
Right.
You are like a trust fund. You're supposed to make sure that that money gets to the IRS and to the different states. So no, it's and I understand a lot of the small business owners, they feel like I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money for people to do my accounting. I don't have a lot of money for being
She said she can't get off mute, but she's
okay.
still here.
I
That's
get
okay, Jen. No worries. But go ahead. You were saying they have a lot of money. They don't have a
don't
lot of
have
money.
a lot of money for their accounting and for their payroll processing and all of that. I'm just do it by myself. But the consequences of that is far greater than let me try to figure out in the beginning, whereas I don't have that problem.
Right. And if you build these systems into place and abide by the systems that's been built into place to protect you, you'll be better off because you don't want to, the alternative can be the life of your business
Correct.
sometimes.
Because I've seen the lady from the state of Illinois, she'll come and put a green sticker on your building. So you have to shut down.
Wow.
If your taxes are not correct, she will put that sticker on your building and you cannot do business.
I didn't know they did that.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Because they have
Wow.
in Fairview Heights, they have a Illinois Department of Revenue building, and she comes out of that building.
Wow. So they have enforcement enforcing these laws that they put into place.
Yes. And one of the things I also try to tell people, sit down and do like a staffing budget so you'll kind of know what their first payroll is going to look like. And that way, you could think about, okay, will I have enough money for my first payroll?
And let me ask you a question. The money that's placed in the account, is there a way that the small business owner, because they pay it at the end of the year, correct? Or whenever the following year for the prior year's taxes. Is there a way to put it into an account that earns interest, so at least they're earning interest off those funds that they're going to be turning into the government the following year?
See, see, when we go back, we talked about the deadlines and everything. If it's small, then you'll only be an annual filer. So you would
Okay.
only have to pay it one time. But according to your sales, um, sometimes you may be a monthly. You might have to
Oh,
do a monthly, I mean, not sales, your payroll. You'll have to be a monthly payer, or you could be a quarterly payer. So,
okay.
and that's based on your payroll amount.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm thinking.
it's just best to have two separate accounts, one for your general business and the other one for your payroll, and transfer what you need for payroll plus your portion into that payroll account.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So and even if you're a monthly, if you're a quarterly or annual, it's already there. You don't have to worry about it. And you put it over there and forget about it. Don't be like, oh, I can go over there and grab some money. No, put it in there and forget about it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So Jennifer said she was good. I know Nate's good. Andrew, you
I'm
good?
Andrew, you good? Andrew's good.
Oh, by the way, Andrew, I've been getting requests for my picture that you took.
Oh, I can send them. Is are they? I'll see if they're part of the pictures that he sent to us already, and I'll send them over to
Okay,
you. Is
he
it the
took
one
he
with
took a group
everybody?
my group
Oh yeah,
picture.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
He sent it to us. I'll send it over right after this. So we don't
Okay.
have any more questions. This was great. Thank you, Ann. You always dropping those gems of information that the small businesses need.
Okay.
Um, any final words you like to leave us with?
No, it's just been a good process. I hope people are actually learning from this. For the people that are in business, that are just beginning, I just hope that they take advantage of the information that we've provided for them. And we have one more to go.
Yeah, I'm so excited. One more to go. And so if there's nothing else that we have to go over today, I just want to thank you guys for your time. And I will see you same time next week for our final webinar. This has been an amazing series, and I can't wait for it to culminate. And that's it. Have a great remainder of your day. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.